really recognize that these lithium-ion batteries, right? So there's different types of batteries, and lithium-ion batteries are quite specialized and really the batteries for all battery electric vehicles. And so when we get down to this level of information, we sort of realize that it's not one particular chemistry or type and not one mineral. So it's not like oil where we have one substance that we then take down and use into our cars. We actually have multiple components. And here, Australia has a large fraction of minerals that are important, ranging from lithium all the way to graphite, whereas Indonesia is quite rich in nickel and also graphite, right? And so there's quite a bit of synergy here where we can actually have similar sort of minerals and components that we can bring together to develop our industries here, both in Australia and in Indonesia, and do it collaboratively. I think one of the things to learn from this is there's a demand for gigafactories, there's a demand for batteries, there's a demand for cells. I think everyone in the world can have a piece of the pie, and ideally Australia, Indonesia, Asia should get a fraction of the pie as well.
Okay, so other than lithium, what could possibly Australia offer in this collaboration, and also what could this collaboration brings the benefit to Australia?
So Australia has a large fraction of all the other things that go into a battery as well. So copper, aluminium, you've got cobalt in certain places that are being developed, lithium, nickel as well, but Indonesia has a much larger component of nickel, manganese. You have all of these components that come together, steel, and so I think we can develop that. And I think what is happening in Australia is there's a sort of a push to go from just minerals mining to processing, and I think there is at least a local emphasis and a really strong entrepreneurial impact on getting cells manufactured here in Australia as well. So you bring up the value chain, you go from the minerals, you do the processing, you make the electrodes, you make the cells, and then you make the battery packs. So Australia has quite a strong sort of space in making battery packs, so buying cells from overseas and making battery packs, and a strong mining sector. But I think what we want to do is go in that middle section and really grow that section as much as we possibly can. Basically to get a lot of the value back in the country, and to do it with partners that can actually work with us and maybe help them as well along the path.
Okay. We know that Australia has known as the largest producer for lithium. On the other hand, Australia keeps exporting its lithium to China and also to South America for them to produce the battery for electronic vehicles. Could we say that Australia is actually a pretty retarded in terms of downstream? How do you see this?
That's sort of what we're trying to develop. So there's a whole bunch of people who want to go towards that processing in Australia, processing from that mineral rather than exporting it, keeping a little bit in Australia or a fraction in Australia, and then producing it. Even if it's one or two steps, right, it still means that you get those two steps here in Australia. And there's been some processing refineries that have opened up recently that are doing that, so that are actually transforming the raw mineral into lithium carbonate, lithium hydroxide, lithium oxalate, depending on what the manufacturers are interested in. But the further we move down the value stream or value chain, or battery value chain, the more opportunities there are more opportunities for people to grow, more industries to grow, and then also more expertise that we need to make sure that we can actually build from the mineral all the way to the cell. And that would be ideal. I would love to see cell manufacturing here in Australia. I would love to see cell manufacturing sort of everywhere in the world, and just to get everyone have a little bit of the pie, right?
Mm-hmm.